about. So, all right, so we're live now. So, this is the Bucking Truth, a Broncos fan podcast. I'm the host, Jared A. Brown. I've got my guest here, Lee, and Jeffrey Mark Brown will join us shortly. But Lee and I are going to be talking about all things Denver Broncos. We're diehard Broncos fans, and so we're going to be talking about the Denver Broncos. So, if you're a Denver Broncos fan, then you've come to the bucking right place.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
So Lee, we've had our season cut a little bit short, unfortunately, but we've got a lot of stuff to talk about still. You know, we all left the season thinking if, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. And for most of us,
I do.
We think absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I really think the Denver Broncos would be playing right now if Bo Nix would have continued and didn't, fracture his ankle. I think that. So what we've had happen is we've had to I don't watch the Pro Bowl anymore because it's kind of it's kind of silly. It's flag football, so I don't really watch it. But that being said, it was nice to see 6 Denver Broncos represent the Denver Broncos from the AFC in the Pro Bowl, right?
Oh, I loved it. It's finally getting some respect this year. Offensive lineman with Garrett Bowles, special teams guy, with Key, Sutton, of course, he's
my gosh, right.
But Surtain, of course, he's a shutdown corner. But it was nice seeing 6 Broncos in the Pro Bowl this year for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. Garrett Bowles, man, I love that dude. It's a great story because if you're a lot like me when he was a rookie, right? We probably weren't necessarily big fans, right?
Oh yeah, multiple times it seems per game. It was a holding penalty on Bowles.
Right.
Frustrating.
It was, and the cool thing about Garrett Bowles is I live in Utah and he went to the University of Utah, and it was, I was pulling for him, and he's just had a lot of effort put into his game, and it's night and day, right?
Oh, he's improved. He's stopped the holding calls, so he's definitely working on his game. He's a leader, and he has the left side of the line, so he's our main protector. So it's great to see him improve. Yeah.
Absolutely. His confidence is through the roof. And then, of course, we've got Quinn Miners, right? Yeah. Quinn Miners. It's just a really good offensive line that's had consistency because it's not like we're shuffling a bunch of people. Man, was it nice that when guys like Ben Powers went down, that we just plugged in Alex Pacheco, right? And Alex Forsythe, yeah.
It's and I think
right. You're right. It was Palcho when Wattenberg went down. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wattenberg. Give credit to Sean Payton, right, for free agency with Ben Powers. San Francisco guy, our right tackle. He's built probably the best offensive line in football. We just need a running game to complement our offensive line pretty much.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about that too, brother. So I really love, I love J.K. Dobbins, okay? And when the J.K. Dobbins thing was going strong at the beginning of the season, were we loving it because he was averaging over 5 yards a carry, right?
Yes. He was a big back. You could rely on him to get a first, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. He was a shoe-in.
Just kept going, he wouldn't stop.
I mean, it looked like about a 1,400 yard season, maybe. I mean, Yeah, I was excited, and with his injury history, he maybe kind of expected an injury at some
A
point
little
this
bit.
season.
Right. But
Yeah,
here's the thing, and this is where I'm a little conflicted, okay? In regards to, whether the Broncos should bring him back or not, is that a part of me says this was a fluke injury because
yeah,
it was an illegal, tackle that got him injured. It was what
right.
is it called? The hip tackle or something?
Yeah, he was brought down awkwardly for sure. Yeah.
Right. And it was an illegal move. In fact, the defensive player from the Raiders got fined because it was an
Oh,
illegal hip tackle. So I'm
yeah.
conflicted because part of me is like, yeah, he's got injury history, but this was an illegal tackle, you know? And so you know what I mean? So I'm a little conflicted.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nonetheless, okay, because he did go down, all right. Yes, RJ Harvey is a rookie. He
Mm-hmm.
showed flashes, and he reminds me more of a, dare I say, an Alvin Kamara or Kamara, however you pronounce
Yep.
his last name, because
Yep.
the interesting thing about Alvin Kamara is that he has never rushed for 1,000 yards in his career.
Pass
Okay.
catcher. Yeah.
Right. And so he reminds me a lot of that guy because RJ Harvey had 12 touchdowns, most of any rookie in the NFL this season, right?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the run game just wasn't,
No.
it wasn't going like it was when J.K. Dobbins was healthy.
Post Dobbins, you had
Yes.
two third down backs that were small guys. You can't run them between the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
They're outside guys. Defenses knew that. They were kind of
Right.
easier to stop between the tackles, so you had to get these guys in space and just the power running game was not their game. McLaughlin and Harvey.
Right,
So,
right. And,
and
and so again, that's what I'm conflicted is because it was an illegal tackle that got him injured.
yeah,
But because he did get injured and the Broncos couldn't move forward
yeah,
with the same run game, and with his history of injury, even though, okay, all right, let's say it was an illegal tackle, and it was. So let's say
mm-hmm.
this season wasn't his fault. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But every single season that he's been in the NFL,
Something.
he's been injured, right? And he
Yeah.
hasn't completed a full season. So as far as being a free agent, okay, because do you extend him and give him another 1-year contract? Here's where I'm conflicted with that is, again, even though it wasn't his fault and it was an illegal tackle, he does have history, right?
He does.
And I'm a big J.K. Dobbins guy, man.
Yeah, I am too.
Right. And he was like third or fourth leading rusher in the NFL when he was healthy this season.
Yeah, and he had 100, maybe 2 100-yard games.
Right.
I know at the time we were, even the fans were just trying to get Sean Payton, just run the ball, get Dobbins 100 yards. You're going to win the game with a 100-yard rusher, like most of the time.
Mm-hmm,
and then
absolutely.
The Liz Frank injury, I guess, what you're saying was it was an odd tackle, and it's an odd,
It is. It's an illegal tackle that it's not legal in the NFL to tackle that way anymore. And so anyway, so here's the deal. Okay. Although we love the guy. We love the way he plays. He's a smash mouth, almost old school type of player.
Yep.
But what if they do try to pick up another guy who doesn't have an injury sort of history, right? Maybe they
Tyler Algier.
Right.
I heard that name today.
Now here's the interesting thing. Okay, I'm a Utah guy, and Algier went to BYU in Provo, Utah, right? So I'm all about this dude because he has rushed for 1,000 yards already, and so he's got a proven record of having done that.
Yep.
And he is a bigger back. He can bruise you just like a J.K. Dobbins. And so that's a very intriguing sort of player for the Broncos to pick up.
I totally agree. He's going to be a backup in Atlanta for the foreseeable future with a young guy up front.
And no argument. Bijan Robinson is a terrific back, and I
Yeah,
don't know that I would ever say he should go second fiddle to Algier. But man,
yeah.
Algier could start, and why
He-
not give him
he-
a 1 year deal? Like we did J.K. Dobbins.
and he wants to start. I
Yeah,
mean, he wants to be the lead back, and I think a lot of Bronco fans would want to make him the lead back. However, like you were saying, the Dobbins scenario, I personally like Dobbins even as a person. Seeing some of his post game
absolutely. Yeah,
interviews,
I
so
love
that
his
turned me
attitude
on to a
because
fan.
and he loves
Yeah.
Denver. He wants to be
Yep.
in Denver. I love his attitude.
Yeah, and either guy. I mean, it's thankfully I'm not making the decision because I probably almost would invite Dobbins back for another year. I don't know the contract situation. I don't know if he's up for a new contract or not, or if he had another year on his deal. So I'm not 100% on that. But I personally like Dobbins. I like Algier. It's a decision probably you can't go wrong with. In my opinion. So
It's it's a good take. It is, and and if they decide to give J.K. Dobbins another 1 year contract, I'm okay with that. I like the guy, but what if that's always intriguing to ask. What if they do give a guy like
Algier.
Algier? That's one. I'm trying to look up while we're talking on my laptop here some other free agents, but
Yeah. That's
I know they're
I think any back over 230 pounds that could just run between the tackles. That was our kind of a weak spot this year,
right.
Especially in that last playoff game. Although it was a screen pass, that 4th and 1.
Yeah, right.
But
and I'd love to talk about that. Here we go. I'm going to bring in Jeffrey Mark Brown. Here he is. All right, so I'm bringing him on. Here we go. Here we go, Jeffrey Mark Brown. Welcome to
What's up, dude?
Truth.
What's up?
What's up?
How are you, brother?
Hey, Jeffrey.
I totally forgot about today, man.
You're fine. You're all right. You're all right. So this is my friend Lee. Lee and I have connected because we're Broncos fans. Yeah. And so, Lee, the really cool thing about Jeffrey Mark Brown is I have a twin brother. I don't know if you're connected to my twin brother or not, Jeffrey Allen Brown. But so we saw this guy, Jeffrey Mark Brown, and he has such a similar name to my twin that we got kind of talking. And the cool thing is Jeffrey Mark Brown here, Jeffrey is a Broncos fan as well. And man, it's really cool because he's from Quebec, Canada. And
nice.
Right. And it's been kind of awesome to kind of feed off Jeffrey Mark Brown. And so I went live on TikTok one day, he hopped on, and all of a sudden we just had fun talking about Broncos. So here we go.
Yeah, man. Representation up north.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I love to see Canadian Bronco fans. That's
it's awesome. It's awesome. And maybe one day, like the NBA has Toronto, maybe we can have a Canadian NFL team. Who knows? But for now, we're all Broncos fans. Yeah.
Give them the CFL. CFL.
Right. The CFL is fun to watch too, but it's not the NFL. But
No.
But anyway, so Jeffrey, what we're talking about is
man.
So Jeff, so J.K. Dobbins, all right.
JK.
We're big fans. We all are. All right. You and I, when we went live previously, we were all in on the J.K. Dobbins train, so to speak, because the guy runs hard. He doesn't stop moving. No. It's like his knees are always going, and he'll follow his blockers. In some ways, he reminds me of
vision.
Yes. Yeah. And he reminds me of Le'Veon Bell in that he follows his blockers really well. So we're talking about JK because right now he's a free agent. He's, it's a 1-year deal that the Broncos gave him. So I'd mentioned to Lee here, and Lee is all on board too when JK was running well. All right. And the thing about his injury is that it was done by an illegal hip tackle. You remember it. It was in the game against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, the Thursday night one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm conflicted a little bit because it was an illegal tackle. And it wasn't like he, did something because of weak conditioning or
we all know about JK's injury history.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's his Achilles heel, unfortunately,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I'm like, this was an illegal tackle that got him injured, and when he was healthy, man, the guy was averaging over 5 yards a carry.
Crazy.
So if the Broncos re-sign him, I'm not unhappy about it because I love the guy. He wants to be at Denver. He loves Denver, has a great attitude, great locker room guy.
Yeah.
And man, we were all gung-ho because at one moment I thought he was going to play in the AFC Championship game.
I did too.
Close.
Right.
Close.
So close.
Yeah.
Could have used him.
I know.
Definitely could have used him. Yeah.
I know. Those are the what ifs,
There's a lot of what ifs.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
What if? But man, I think we could have used him. Right. But anyway, so here's the deal is that he's a free agent. If they sign him, I'm happy. But if they don't and they go after, say, it's Tyler Algier, okay? Tyler Algier has been with the Falcons since he was drafted. I think he was actually drafted in the same year as Bijan Robinson. I think they were rookies together, if I'm not mistaken. And Tyler Algier is actually he played at BYU at Provo, Utah, Jeffrey. So,
really?
yeah, and I live in Utah. So
there you go.
Yeah, so I love the guy for that reason. It would be good to see him because he's actually rushed for 1,000 yards already.
Yes, his rookie season. Yeah.
Right. So he's already proven he can do it. He's a bigger back. He's a bruiser. He can, lower his shoulder, much like a J.K. Dobbins, and kind of make defenders regret having tried to tackle him, so to speak. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Because for sure, the Broncos missed that element once J.K. went down.
Yeah. So, and here's so Terrell Davis. I don't know if you guys caught what he said. He was.
I saw something.
Yeah. So he was interviewed, and I don't have his quote verbatim, but it was something like, "The Broncos need more competition in the running back room."
Yep.
And he said something like, J.K. Dobbins was great, but with his injury history, and he said this respectfully because he's not trying to slight him in any way, but with his history, he wouldn't mind seeing more competition in the running back room, and kind of implied if they went a different direction, he wouldn't be unhappy about it. And he said it respectfully. He wasn't trying to dog or slight J.K. Dobbins in any way. So, I'm going to leave kind of open this up for discussion. And, if they were to look at a Tyler Algier or, maybe they make I'm trying to look up if Breece Hall is under contract, but if
he's a free agent,
he's a free agent. I thought he was.
Yeah.
So if they were to make a offer to Breece Hall, I love it. He's not as big and his style is different than J.K. Dobbins. He's quicker. He's a fast guy with speed. But man, not last year, but 2 years ago, he tore it up against the Broncos, right? You remember that? Yeah.
I think a couple of times he's done that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's another option. I'm trying to look up free agents here. I'm going to try to NFL free agents so I can bring them
I also know Kenneth Walker.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Agent. So he's probably going to ball out on Sunday and then really cash in.
Yeah.
Probably stay in Seattle, but
I've heard Charbonneau could be an option, Seattle's second back. He was their starting back this year.
Unfortunately,
he's hurt.
He tore his ACL.
He's hurt.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not going to bring him in.
I think they will definitely add in the running back room via free agency. I know that they really love JK. They appreciate him not only for the running back that he is, but for the person that he is.
Yes, and we all three of us.
It would not shock me if they bring him back on another kind of a cheap 1-year thing. but for sure they will definitely have to address it in the draft again.
Mhm.
Yes.
Someone to complement Harvey.
Yes.
Because Harvey,
Yep.
after JK, Harvey wasn't best suited in that role.
Nope.
Harvey's not suited as the lead guy. They definitely
Agreed.
need a guy 225 pounds, and they need to draft someone like that. There's this guy, Washington. I forget where he's from, but he could be a target.
We need bigger backs. We have our 2
'cause-
third down backs and McLaughlin and Harvey. They're fast. We already know they don't run between the tackles. Bring in another
Tyler
bruiser.
Bidet era kind of needs
That
to.
sail has probably been that
no
ship has probably
disrespect, but-
sailed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He didn't run
I
much.
think he didn't. And the thing about it is, so it's we laugh at it. So what happens is every time Tyler, trying to remember, is it Tyler Bidet?
Bidet.
Yeah.
Tyler Bidet.
Anyway, when he was often on third downs, but when he wasn't, we all presumed, and so did the opponent's defense, that it was a passing down, right?
It's a throwing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's not
They
a
were
runner.
gonna pass.
He's a pass catcher.
No,
It's a dead
right.
giveaway.
No, they got to fix the running game. They got to fix the running game. I think that's definitely going to be a key.
Yes,
that they're going to focus on.
And running backs are deep in the draft too. Running backs you typically don't want a first round running back. I mean, traditionally they say, because it's a position that goes so deep in the draft.
Yeah.
Yes.
But unless there's a standout, maybe. But typically, look at Terrell was a 7th round draft pick.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
The history,
I like Breece Hall and I like Tyler Algier. I like those two names. So let's switch to wide receiver, because I think that unfortunately that's why the wide receivers coach, Kiri Colbert, got fired, because something that something that Jeffrey and I have talked about is, unfortunately,
too many drops.
Yes.
Right, too many drops.
And Sean really made a point of that.
He did
at his press conference.
He really did.
Yeah. He got fired, the dude.
Yes, it was.
Sean wasn't happy with the drop.
Yeah, and he doesn't say things like that publicly for no reason, right? So
when he's specifically saying you got to put your thumbs together, he's going through the optics of catching the ball.
Trying to illustrate.
Sean wasn't happy. Sean wasn't happy.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's not. Go ahead, Lee.
Guys, I was at the Buffalo playoff game.
No.
Oh my gosh, so jealous.
Lil Jordan. I mean, that was the best pass. It was, right on his hip.
Yeah.
And he did not bring that in. I thought that would haunt us. Thankfully, it didn't.
Yeah, thankfully he redeemed himself with that catch in the end zone. You're right, but that was a drop.
No, too many drops.
And even, and I don't want to start any blasphemy, but even Cortland Sutton has had a lot of drops.
He had a handful of drops.
He did, right. And so one guy who's a free agent, okay, not somebody they trade for, because we obviously know that the Broncos are going to be, as George Payton has stated, aggressive, right? But we'll talk about that in a moment, okay? And then we'll talk about who could be, some guys they could trade for. But right now, okay, Alec Pierce, Indianapolis Colts wide receiver. Okay, logging in. Yes, okay, this guy, all right, not a big name, but this guy right here, it's a 2022 second rounder, all right, has positioned himself by logging in his first 1,000-yard season and topping the 20 yards per reception threashhold in each of the past 2 seasons. Not too shabby.
Yep. Long threat.
Yeah.
Deep threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's something. I mean, we have some fast guys on our team. I mean, Mims could stretch a field, Franklin could stretch the field.
It's amazing the good things that happen when Mims is on the field and they get him the ball, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Now,
he gets reps.
It's unfortunate it took most of the season and a few guys to get banged up, but Because you and me were harping on that.
We were. Every single week we were saying if this guy catches fire.
Right?
Yes.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
He is. And I get it on one hand because they don't want to get him. They want to use him on returns. But by golly, if you have to take him off returns, I'm okay with that because you've got to give him the rock more often. You do.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And same with Franklin. He's another guy. I just read an article today. He's looking for his first 1,000-yard season. So it's nice to see these guys hungry.
Yes. So here's the deal is that we do have a Pat Bryant that if he can stay healthy at the end of the season, went through some injuries, concussions, which wouldn't necessarily be his fault for the most part. Okay. But the hamstring issue, I think that was what ultimately was it his hamstring? No, that was Troy Franklin.
Both of them.
Bryant,
both
he got
of them, right.
Yeah. He at the Patriots game, he got a hand at the beginning of the game.
No, hamstrings you can stretch. Lee at least mentioned that in my comments. Is that okay? That's something that the conditioning can help minimize and reduce. Okay, concussion is not so much. Those are kind of I hope that doesn't happen, but you don't want to have a guy so timid that he doesn't get But hamstrings you can reduce that by doing stretching and some other things. So hopefully that doesn't happen, okay? With that being said, okay, if you do pick up an Alex Pierce, man, I'm okay with that because it just puts more competition in there. And if a guy like little Jordan Humphrey has to go, hey, then we've got Alex Pierce, right?
Practice squad team.
Yeah. So with that being said, okay, what if, okay, there was a picture on an Instagram that kind of, was on my feed multiple times of George Pickens and Bo Nix, okay, in high school because they were practicing together because they were both from Alabama, I think, if I remember right.
Right.
Okay, George Pickens, I don't like his attitude when things aren't going swell.
He's a powder. He's a diva.
He can be, okay? And so that could be a negative, okay? But he had arguably his best season last year at the Cowboys. And when he's on, he can catch just about everything. And the drops aren't going to be there when he's on. Okay? So that's one, okay? And then there's chirping, and I don't know if it ever will be something, but what if you trade for a guy like T. Higgins?
Oh, wow.
Okay, because they do have about $35 million in cap space roughly that's now open because that Russell Wilson money is not there anymore.
He's gone.
Right.
The cap money's gone. Yeah.
So you could be a little what George Payton said is aggressive and maybe pick up make a trade, whether it's making a trade and either sending a guy like little Jordan Humphrey. And then maybe, I don't know if you send a third rounder. I haven't looked to see what the value would be for a T. Higgins, but
no offense, you're not going to get much value for little Jordan Humphrey. Okay,
you're not.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe you just don't wait. Maybe you just don't. Maybe you just put him on your practice squad.
He's not even under contract.
Yeah,
he's not even under contract.
Right.
I don't see them making a big move at wide receiver. There's always been a lot of chatter. I don't see them making a big move. Sean Payton in the past has always paid one main guy. Right now, that's Court.
Yeah.
I don't see them adding a second because then I think that's going to throw everything out of whack. And with Court's contract, you can't cut him or trade him this year. There'll be massive
salary
implications on the cap. So I don't see. You hear a lot of chatter.
You do.
But I really don't see it happening. Maybe they'll pick up, a mid vet or something or draft someone else, but I really don't see nothing major happening at the wide receiver position. Tight end, we can have a conversation about that.
Yeah,
we can. Okay, now
I think that's where they need to make some sort of a big move.
I saw flashes. We all did of Evan Ingram.
Yes.
Catch here or there. You know, he made some big clutch catches against the Giants, the Commanders, you know, but it was
he didn't work out for some
right.
reason. I
You
don't know
know,
why.
For whatever reason, I don't know. I don't know why.
I don't know if it was
Whether
that they
Sean just didn't utilize him, or
Yep.
I don't know. That I
Pass
don't know.
blocking,
it's hard
perhaps.
to say. You know,
It was a disappointment, though.
It was underwhelming. So what if, okay, you release him, you waive him, instead of continuing to, because they signed him last season to 2 years, 2 seasons.
Mhm.
What if you release him, and what you have now is an opportunity to go after like an what is it? There are some
Draft?
great ones out there. Yeah, or draft. Yeah,
The
in
Oregon
draft.
kid is really good.
Right.
The Oregon,
Yes.
yeah.
Kenyon
Oregon
Sadiq.
tight end looks really good. Right.
Yes. I mean, I'm an Oregon fan. I'm out here in the Northwest, and that guy is built, and he's fast. He catches passes. He's quick, almost like a tight end. I mean, almost like a receiver speed.
Right.
He would meld in, I think, really quickly to the team. I mean,
I've heard some great things about him.
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I think he may even be a first-round pick. I don't know.
I believe is a kind of a late first round. Yeah.
Late. And we are late first round if he drops to 30, which I don't see that happening, but it could.
Now, a free agent, okay, a guy who's not currently on a team, well, he is, but I mean, just till really the season's over, right, is tight end Kyle Pitts, all right, from the Atlanta Falcons. Now, now here's the thing about this dude is when he got drafted, he was like going to be the next coming. It was like
Gonzalez.
the bright and shiny object where, you know, he was going to be a mismatch nightmare, right? It was going to be hard to match up with him because of his size, his agility and all these things. But not until, oddly, this season, which is a contract season, okay, did he really have some great production. So that's my only trepidation with him, is that he hasn't been consistent, if that makes sense. What do you guys think?
I had Kyle Pitts in fantasy football for like 2 years.
You feel me? Huh?
I do. He is a very frustrating fantasy football player.
Yeah.
I benched him the Thursday night game where he had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I forget who Atlanta was playing that night. It could have been Tampa, but I could not believe it. I mean,
I was lucky enough to have started the guy, and he scored me 45 points.
Oh, that's
45
awesome.
points. Yeah. And so I got lucky because I was rolling the dice, Lee. It's not like I thought this was going to pan out. I mean, you know what I mean? It was just like, okay, I have no one else, so let's see what I do, you know?
I had him as a starter every week. You know, you get frustrated when the guy's not scoring touchdowns, you know, maybe 30 yards a game. You just, I had enough. I'm going to bench Kyle. I forgot whoever I put in. But when I saw those numbers, I was like, yep, that's fantasy football in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I made the wrong decision.
I had some injuries, and I thought, okay, I need a tight end. I'd rolled the dice and thought I'd give it a shot, and it worked. I got lucky, so to speak. But
that was a good night, man.
It was. But can he repeat that is the question. And his stats so far season wouldn't necessarily back that up, because he's only had really one good season, you know. So I don't know if you give that guy a shot just because he doesn't have a consistency built up.
Yeah.
The consistency.
I have a hard time seeing him coming to Denver, honestly.
Yeah. You know, because if you really want to make a difference, and especially with Evan Ingram not having necessarily worked out, you know, I don't know that you want to give a guy a shot, even though it's not injury history like with JK, but it's just inconsistency. You know?
I think you'd probably want to have something a little more established and proven at that point.
But could that be Atlanta? Could that be Atlanta's system? I don't know. You know, they had Kirk Cousins there for the most of this year.
Right. It's debatable. Right. It could be. you try to give the guy a benefit of the doubt, and he did have a really good season. And so maybe you give that guy a shot. Maybe he just continues to blow up like he did in this last season that we've had. Who knows? Maybe, but maybe whoever does pick him up reaps the rewards, and then we're like, man, why didn't the Broncos pick him up? I don't know. But I do, if I'm a general manager, I'm George Payton, I don't know if I would roll the dice on that guy. I would probably agree with you guys if we're all in consensus. That's probably not a good gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Consistency is the NFL. You want a guy to go out, get his in tight end position, 50, 60 yards a game. Yeah, that's probably top end. But
right.
You want the consistency. You want a tight end that could block. You want a tight end that could catch, which I don't know about Pitt's blocking ability. I think they put him off the line.
Yeah, that I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So
that's important.
Now, if the Broncos were to draft, remind me the guy's name from Oregon. I'm forgetting already.
Yes,
Sadiq. Yeah. So
here's
sometimes you draft a guy and it just works out. Like the Chargers drafted Orande Madsen.
Gadsden.
Gadsden. Yeah. That's right. And his dad, wide receiver for the Dolphins, right? Yeah. You guys remember his dad from the Dolphins? Yeah. So that guy had a fairly good, rookie season as a tight end.
San Diego. So right, I should say Chargers, not San Diego.
Right, LA Chargers. Yeah. For all of us, it's hard for us to transition like that. I make that slip. Yeah, I make that slip too.
Yeah. No. So that just shows you a rookie, right? Was Gadsden a rookie this year?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. If they do draft Sadiq, maybe all of a sudden he, starts catching and he has like maybe 50 receptions, maybe even 60 his rookie season, and he just shows more than what we've gotten from Evan Ingram. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so no, I think tight end is going to be a position very similar to running back, where they're going to have to address in both free agency and in the draft.
100%. Yeah,
and then maybe this year his little experiment, Caleb Lohner, will get on.
Yeah, he's still on their practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
he was on practice squad all season. He got called up the last game onto the roster there and got the game day check. But you would like to hopefully see him on the field this year.
That would be cool. Yeah, and from what I've understood, from
there's got to be some red zone packages Sean and Webb can draw for him.
Absolutely. And the cool thing, all right, we accidentally had him drop off. Let me bring him back on. Sorry about that, Lee. We lost you for a second.
That's all good.
So from what I understand, in like practice or that he is like one of the hardest working guys on that practice squad, and he's showing that he's working and trying to do that. So hopefully we can see something like that from him. It would be cool. It really would, because
for sure.
The guy's like 6'7". Yeah, 6'7", played basketball.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot
hopefully it can pan out, because it was a little frustrating, because I understand it's a 7th round pick, but there were some running backs that were picked in the 7th that they could have drafted. Yeah. Have used,
Yes.
So that's what I say. Okay, it's just a 7th round pick, but man.
And
Lohner does pretty good in the 7th round, Jonathan Cooper. So
right.
Every pick is important. important. So
I had a question, guys. Was Lohner just had like 1 year of college football? Is that right? He was mostly a basketball player?
He was mostly basketball, right.
Okay.
And he played very little. Like the only times he actually went into the game for the University of Utah is that it was end zone packages.
Yeah.
So yes, he is raw. He is, and so, but guys like Antonio Gates, he never played football at all.
Basketball.
Only played basketball, which is amazing.
Julius Thomas.
Julius Thomas, right?
Broncos.
Basketball guy too, right? So it doesn't mean that he can't develop and become a very good tight end. And there's still that potential. We'll see what happens.
Probably Julius, our last great tight end.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Really
Even
is.
though he was
States.
much maligned because his blocking skills were, but man.
Yeah. I
Suspect.
mean,
those 2 years he had with Peyton was magic.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I remember that one season.
oh my gosh.
Peyton's-
Yeah. Oh, that
when
was
he blew
magical.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I think
the
that
other.
Oh, sorry. I think that contract situation that Julius Thomas ran into kind of after that really good season, he wanted more money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think Denver traded him to like the Dolphins, and that was
It
it.
was the
He
Dolphins.
signed with
That was it.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, he
Signed
signed
with
with
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Okay.
Jacksonville and
He was a free
then the Dolphins afterwards. I
Dolphins.
think you're
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the Dolphins after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's what it was. Yeah, that was sad. Hey, I like Julius.
Yep.
And Julius was Portland State, so I got to give him some
Yeah.
props.
oh, right on.
Northwest
Yeah. Yeah. Northwest guy.
Yeah,
Sure.
I hope Julius gave Peyton a cut of his contract because
He
let's be
owes
honest.
him. Yeah.
Peyton,
It was really only because of Peyton Manning. I mean, he
Yes,
did
it
it
was.
not
well,
only because, but for sure.
He made a lot of receivers and tight ends.
He made a lot of receivers, a lot of money for sure. For
and
sure.
coaches.
Yeah,
and quarterback
Absolutely.
coaches.
absolutely.
Yeah. But I would, guys, just to say, I would put, I know Denver has like 7 picks this year. I think they have 2 fourth-round picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had to move up in the first, maybe to get a Kenyon Sadiq, I'd almost
it.
go for it.
Yeah, do it.
He is a specimen.
It's it's a good move, brother. I would be
Yeah.
okay with that because here we go looking back at the 2025 draft class, okay? And Jade Barron, okay, has shown flashes. And
Mhm.
but here's the thing, okay? I really want Jaquan McMillan to be re-signed. I do. I'm a proponent. The guy just made big plays.
Oh,
He made
absolutely.
big plays.
And that
So-
wasn't an interception. That wasn't an interception.
That was an
It was.
interception.
It was.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. And
I
I'll
mean,
go,
Bills fans are still in tears.
I know they are,
Oh.
and they can cry all they want, but
Fooling
you have got to
themselves.
survive the ground. You've got to survive the ground, and he
Yeah.
didn't. I mean, I
Nope.
can't believe Bills fans are still saying he had possession. And so you've got to survive the ground. When he rolled over, he didn't have the ball. That's not surviving the ground. But anyway.
No.
So here we
No.
go. Is that if you look back on the 2025 draft class, Jade Barron did show flashes. At the beginning of the season, he was basically covering tight ends very well. Okay. He made Ferguson in that game against the Cowboys a non-factor. It was awesome. Okay. So I'm not ready to say he was a bust. That would be silly because he's still only
First
1
year.
year in. Right.
Yeah.
But do you, okay, and this is the Broncos' dilemma, okay, and you drafted him in the first round. So going into the second season, do you not sign Jaquan McMillan because you want to give this guy who is a first rounder more playing time?
Oof.
That's the dilemma. Now, again, I say no, okay? I mean, I say you sign Jaquan McMillan because you already know you have with this guy.
Body
And
work.
I'm not saying that Jade Barron doesn't have potential. He does. Okay. But right now you already know what you have with Jaquan McMillan. J-Mac, all right, made big plays. That play against the Bills, without that play, they
Saved
don't
the game.
win that game. Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
The Bills kick a field goal and the Broncos lose. You're right.
Yep.
So I don't think you not reward a guy for making arguably one of the biggest plays in Broncos playoff history.
No
that
doubt.
would be silly. So
Yep.
here's the thing is that I'm just a guy who loves the Broncos. But what if, okay, in college, okay, he also played a little safety. Okay, he's a very versatile corner.
He's very versatile. Yeah.
Yes. Now he could play the nickel. He could also play the, on the left or
Dime.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And he
Yeah.
could play. He could play several different defensive back positions. So if you do if you sign and give an extension to Jaquan McMillan, which I'm a proponent and I'm advocating for it, sign that guy, give him the bag, whatever. Okay, get him signed again, and then maybe give Jahdae Barron some time at safety, or maybe, I don't know, in some games where you've got 5 wide receivers and you need another guy on the other side to cover another wide receiver because you've got 5 wide receivers you're coming, give him some more development and time. But why, you know what I mean? Or maybe even trade him. I don't know, but not to sign Jaquan McMillan just because you drafted the best available player, which he was at that time. So I'm not faulting them for having done that, although they could have drafted a tight end.
Or how about the San Diego?
But again,
running back.
Right, Omari,
The
Chargers, Omarion Hampton, but he got injured too. But whatever. Okay, time will tell. Okay,
they had a deal. They had a deal in place. You know that, huh?
They
Straight
did.
down.
Yeah, they did.
Straight down.
And
did
anyway? Yeah,
they were targeting Trayvon Henderson.
They were right.
One of the other tight ends. I forget which one, but
yes,
they did have a deal in place, and then they weren't expecting Barron to fall.
Yeah,
and he fell right,
and Barron fell. Barron fell.
Player. Yeah,
I like the guy, and I'm not.
It's the long-term payoff.
It is, and I'm not saying they don't play the guy or that they shouldn't play Jahdae Barron, but all I'm trying to say is that Jaquan McMillan, you already know what you have with the guy. It would, in my eyes, be silly not to give the guy, whether it's a 2-year deal, maybe something that's a little bit more budget friendly. You know, it would be. I don't know if it would be. I don't know what the price would be. I'd have to look at the value for a guy like him and see what other guys of his stature or, value have gone. But you sign the guy, you got to. Okay.
Agreed.
And Jahdae Barron, I'm not saying you trade the guy, but it would be something that you could use to trade for somebody if you needed to. But they're so deep at defensive backs, and it's been great because they're deep at almost at every position. It's awesome. Yeah. So it's a good problem to have, right?
No, you can never have too many corners, and then you have to keep in mind that Riley being in the last year of his contract. So
Moss,
you know what I mean? And who knows? Who knows? Riley Moss is shown to be healthy and has not really had injuries. He
had injuries the first 2 seasons.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
But
when he was drafted,
he was healthy. Yes, exactly. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
So what if? Okay, and again, it's not like we're predicting the future, but what if he gets injured next season, right? And Jahdae Barron starts to play, and all of a sudden he shows so much development that Riley Moss kind of goes down the rung of the ladder, right?
Yeah.
You never know, but that's why I'm saying. I'm just saying it would be silly. It would be silly not to value Jahdae Barron, but it would also be, in my mind, silly not to sign Jaquan McMillan. You've got to make it work. You've got to make it both work, in some way. And I'm
injuries. Injuries are
they're part of the game. Yeah,
and depth is very important to have.
So important.
Yeah,
which is paramount. Lee and I talked about at the very beginning, Jeffrey, is that, like when Ben Powers went down, we had Palchel. He came in. And then when Luke Wattenberg got injured, guess who? Yeah, or vice versa. I forget it. Am I getting it reversed?
No, you got it right.
Okay. But anyway, they've had such great depth that when guys got injured, we plugged other guys in. Yeah. And they didn't really miss a beat with the offensive line. And it's only because of the depth. Whereas other teams, Chargers, Patriots, when their guys got injured.
Chargers for sure.
They did. They did.
Yeah, they were decimated. Yeah.
Joe Alt went down.
2 all-pro guys. That's tough.
And I'm not Justin. I'm not trying to necessarily throw shade on the Patriots, but with their guys that have been nicked and injured, they've allowed 5 sacks for the last 3 playoff games. 5 sacks they're averaging for each playoff game. The Broncos sacked him 5 times.
Yeah.
And then the Texans did, and so did the Chargers.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point being is that you've really got to have depth, and the Broncos have it, which is great. The only thing that we can maybe talk about right now that we haven't yet already is that, okay, Alex Singleton is also a free agent. And I love the dude, a warrior.
Yeah.
Okay. It's amazing that he knew the day before the Las Vegas Raiders game,
the cancer,
that he had testicular cancer.
Yep.
And homeboy played anyway.
It's amazing.
Right. And a year ago he played the whole rest of the game on his torn ACL. Right.
Just old school, man. That's all I could say.
It is.
He is old school.
Just a guy that I see who, years from now, we're all going to appreciate because he just plays so with his heart and passion, and you can't make that up. Some guys, they get the bag and they get money and they don't play as hard. This guy's always going to play hard. I love that. So I'm not okay, but the other guy who is voiced concern. So I say you pay him, even if it's just 1 year deal, 2 years. We got to get that guy back.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the other one that I'm not sure about because although Justin Sternad, made a great play against the Giants. Without the play he made against the Giants, we may not be talking about. That was that interception.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that interception
in Giants territory
from Jackson Dart. Yes. Without that play, we may not have been talking about arguably the best comeback victory from the Broncos ever. Yes. Because I still think that comeback against the San Diego Chargers with Peyton Manning is still spectacular. But this game this season,
the Rivers Manning one.
It may go. Yeah. Yes. This may go down as the best comeback ever from the Broncos. Without that play, we won't be talking about it. It was that
not at all
integral and instrumental for them winning. But he has voice.
Injuries.
Okay, he has voice that he wants to be a starter. He wants to be a starter.
He deserves it,
and he has. Okay, and I don't necessarily say he shouldn't be, but if the Broncos don't have the best opportunity, because even Bill Cowher stated that when Mike Vrabel was still with the Steelers, that he said, listen, Mike, we can pay you, but I can't give you the same opportunities as other teams. And I almost think this is virtually the same thing. I don't know if he'll become a Mike Vrabel, but I think they can pay him, but I don't know that he's going to get those starter minutes, right? Because
agreed. Yeah. So, and it's another position through the draft, I think, that Denver has to work on is that is linebacker.
It is. So
I think linebacker is going to be very similar to tight end and running back.
Yes, as far as a priority,
agency, and they will add someone in the draft because it's a very strong draft for linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
You could see a cleaning house of the linebackers. It wouldn't shock me.
Agreed. So
it really wouldn't shock me. Even I'm hearing some things about Greenlaw. Maybe they're going to.
Yeah. He had a tough season. I mean, coming back from injury, but then getting injured again.
Yeah.
He may be past his prime, probably.
Now, because of what he's done in the past, I see him at least getting another chance to show that if he stays healthy, he can still be elite. So, but with that being said, I agree that, what if he does get injured? They're going to have to kind of make sure that they're, not skipping a beat, right? So here's a guy who also played for the University of Utah, and the Denver Broncos have made kind of a habit of signing University of Utah guys, right? But anyway,
character guys,
right? But so we've already brought up Tyler Algier from BYU. We've also talked about Caleb Lohner from University of Utah. Tim Patrick was drafted out of University of Utah, and then the other guy that they traded away to Jacksonville. What's his name? Oh my gosh,
position
wide receiver.
Juan Ballet.
Yes.
Ballet. Yeah.
You got traded to New Orleans.
Right. Exactly. New Orleans. Right. Okay. Yeah. He was from the University of Utah as well. But anyway, so here's my thing. Devin Lloyd. Okay. Devin Lloyd from the Jacksonville Jaguars is a free agent. He's an inside linebacker. And guess what? He had either the most interceptions this season by any defensive player.
Jeez.
Okay. Very good linebacker. Okay. I think that would be a good free agent to sign that guy there. And then
100%.
Yes. I love this guy. There's also Devin Bush from the Browns, who's a former Steeler, but I like Devin Lloyd better.
From one of the best defensive teams.
I've heard
that
Denver would very possibly be interested in Lloyd.
Yes.
Huge upgrade.
I like
huge
that.
upgrade.
Yes.
In middle linebacker position. I like Singleton as a character guy, tough guy, good locker room guy. I think you keep him around. He may lose playing time with Lloyd coming to town, but I think you got to look at the locker room situation and just him being such a great guy. Maybe I'm just a homer for him or a fan favorite, I guess.
Right. Absolutely. I like him too. Now, what if you make a trade for a middle linebacker? It's a smaller deal, so it's not like you're spending a whole lot, but a brother of Jonah Ellis, who also played for the University of Utah, and all of the Ellises did. Luther Ellis, who was the father who played in the NFL for mostly the Lions, but also ended his career with the Denver Broncos, Luther Ellis. But we've got Jonah Ellis, right? Jonah Ellis, who's a monster as an outside linebacker already and has tons of potential. Well, his brother, Caden Ellis, is in the final year of a 3-year, $21.5 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons. So that's an intriguing to bring in his brother, okay? And all of them, even Christian Ellis, who plays for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that was a touching moment.
It is. That was heartwarming. But Christian Ellis also played for the University of Utah. But anyway, I digress. So that's that would be intriguing. It would be a smaller, trading for him wouldn't be like breaking the bank. But it would be an option. But I do love Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm all in for. And you said from the linebacker position, he led the NFL
middle linebacker.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It is.
And we're a defense that needs turnovers. As good as we are on defense, the turnovers was kind of a disappointment this year.
It didn't really happen until the end of the season, and then all of a sudden, they started getting them in, bunches. But yes. I would love to see. Yes, exactly.
You needed each and every one of those.
And they got some against the Chiefs and the Chargers at the end of the season, right?
Yeah,
but
then we just couldn't get any against New England.
No, that was a interesting, odd game with that snow coming in.
Right?
It's just kick that field goal. But
oh my gosh,
I digress. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. So, all right. So here we go. What if? Okay, they look at Devin Lloyd, okay, and they solve that answer with him, and then you pair him up with obviously Dre Greenlaw, and then you give Alex Singleton a real budget friendly deal. And you still have him, but then you also have Devin Lloyd. I think that kind of solves those issues. And then if you do pick up a Breece Hall from free agency, that would be awesome. He's a free agent, so you wouldn't have to trade for him.
Yeah.
But another guy that's been even last year thrown around in kind of trade talks is Etienne from the Jaguars.
Oh.
So I want to make sure I say his name right because his brother plays for the Panthers as a rookie, and they both played
Travis
for
Etienne?
Georgia. Yes, Travis.
Yeah.
And Trevor plays for and his brother Trevor plays for the Panthers, right? So Travis Etienne was even thrown around in the offseason last season, right? During the offseason. And and that was kind of the talk. What if the Broncos pick, make a trade for him? Or,
I love
that would have been, I do. I like that guy a lot. So they'd have to trade for him. But that would be fun. And it would be kind of interesting to see if they were to do that. Now, with the Jaguars having such a good season, they may want to try to build it, bring everybody back as possible, of course. But I don't know how serious that would be to try to trade for him.
believe they're quite a bit over the cap, if I'm not mistaken.
They may be, not as much in salary cap hell as the Chiefs, but you're right. They may have to. They might not be able to pick up or bring everybody back, so to speak, or we'll see. But at any rate, the biggest thing is trying to solve the running back issue, making sure you pick up a very good wide receivers coach. Okay. And we don't want the Broncos. We don't want them leading or being second in drops for their wide receivers. And that's how they ended, was they were second.
Can't have that. You can't have that.
Can't have it if you want to get back to being the number one seed and going back to the playoffs and having the number one seed. You don't want to be leading the league or being number two in drops. So
it was just a problem that was all season, and it just never.
It was. So I'm not against.
Never got corrected,
It didn't, and I'm not against bringing all the wide receivers back, with the exception of maybe little Jordan Humphrey. I'm not a hater, but I'd rather see Pat Bryant get his touches and reps, right, guys? I mean,
he excites me.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
I mean, he was a trusted. He was getting a lot of Knicks's trust. I mean, even later in the year.
At the begining of the Buffalo game, he had like 3 receptions, boom, 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 and then he got hurt. He was
I thought this is going to be a monster game, just like you guys, right?
It looked like a 100-yard game for the rookie,
So, we may see him blossom and be, just a steady Eddie who's catching everything, and maybe that's kind of what's going to set us off in a great direction. Who knows? But if they do pick up an Alec Pierce, I wouldn't be against that either, because he's a kind of a guy that wouldn't break the bank, and he would really make it competitive in the room if they did that. Now, again, if they did that, then you're not bringing back you're not going to try to you're going to be pushing him to the side. And then you may not even see guys like Elijah Moore again, and you're basically making that a little smaller, because you may be putting them on the practice squad, but you're looking at making this 5 wide receivers. So you're looking at Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant. Okay. And so who would be the 4th and 5th after that?
Mims for sure.
Marvin Mims for sure. So then who would be the 5th? And that's where I would say an Alec Pierce. If you do bring him on, then you have your 5 right there, because otherwise we're bringing, no disrespect, Michael Bandy, little Jordan Humphrey.
He had one good game.
All right. I know. And those are guys that you need them. You're going to bring them back on, from the practice squad. I just don't know that those are going to be guys that you're always going to have for your top 5, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Bringing them free agent for number 5. And I've as a fantasy owner, I've had Pierce on many of my fantasy teams.
Oh my gosh, right.
A little bit of an injury history, but but when he's on, he's on. He is great, like you were saying, 20 yards per reception. That's dynamite,
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Bring him in.
Anyway, so that's all I have today, you guys. Thanks for joining. This has been just really fun. I'm excited to see what happens. We do have the Super Bowl on Sunday. I'm going to ask, before we end the live stream here, what are your takes? Who's going to win?
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No. It's hard for me to be a Seattle fan, because obviously they were Denver's rival for many a year.
For many years, right. Yeah.
And second, what they did to Denver in Super Bowl 48. So,
yes.
But, they say defense wins championships.
Yes.
I'm going Seattle probably by 10 points to a touchdown, simply because of their powerful defense. And
all right.
Having Darnold make,
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Yeah, like Darnold's proved a lot coming down the stretch, because you were always concerned that he would have one of those games where he would throw 3 picks or something.
Yes.
I seem to have gotten away from that, so I think they have faith in him. I think, Seattle, they're a really complete team, and
solid.
Like JSN, Cooper, New England. Boy.
All right.
Hey. I just don't think they have enough firepower to match up with them.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. So 2 people so far. You guys are going for Seattle. I'm going for Seattle too, and it's not because the Patriots just recently beat Denver. Although that would be nice to see them getting booted out, and if it's a blowout, I'm not going to be unhappy. Right? But that's not the reason. Okay, similar reasons. Okay, you guys, is that here we go. Okay, the Chargers had a bunch of injuries. Okay, so the Patriots beat the Chargers. Ton of injuries on the Chargers side. Okay, Justin Herbert barely was moving. Okay, and then the Texans, C.J. Stroud imploded. Right? They didn't lose. They didn't lose because of the Texans' defense. They lost because they kept on giving C.J. Stroud kept on giving the Patriots the ball. So we all can agree that, okay, those 2 games right there were almost handed to them, so to speak. Okay, and then the Broncos, they were on their backup quarterback. So the Patriots have beaten a really injury-riddled Chargers team, LA Chargers. The Texans, C.J. Stroud gave them like 4 or 5 turnovers. And then they beat a Broncos team by 3 points with their backup quarterback. Okay, so I'm not sold on the Patriots. I've already stated that in the last 3 games in the playoffs, the wild card, divisional, and the AFC Championship game, they're allowing 5 sacks a game. So Drake May is getting sacked at least five times each game. I think the Seahawks are going to sack him at least 5, maybe 6 times. And I think you're not going to see great stats. Drake May has been underwhelming in the playoffs. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Regular season too. He was playing against mediocre teams at best.
Right. Really. So I think it's the Seahawks. And then, then we can talk about when the season ends, when things get real interesting with free agency and everything. And then we'll be putting together, some better sort of plans for the next season. But man, this is going to be great because I firmly believe that with Bo Nix established as the franchise quarterback, we're going to see some spectacular seasons. Whereas when we had the 2015 team in the 1997 and 1998 teams with John Elway, those teams were older teams at the end, right? Yeah. We're at the cusp of a very young team, and it's going to be very exciting to see where this team can go. I'm excited.
100%.
Smart but aggressive because they got Bo Nix under rookie contract.
Yes, so right. Let's win now.
Yeah,
another year for his rookie contract. Or
yes, one more year.
He's entering year 3. So
okay. This is when you got to put it together.
Yes,
it goes fast. So now.
Play it. Play Marvin Mims. Play Marvin Mims.
Get Marvin the ball.
Yes.
Get Marvin the ball. Get a running game.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Get a running game.
How about deep passes for Nix? Not overthrowing every pass over 30, 40 yards. We want to see the long passing game work this year.
Remember in 2024 when he against the Bengals and Browns when he was airing it out.
Oh, man. Some amazing
was exciting.
Plays.
Yeah. We didn't see so many this season. I'm hoping that that will change. Now, another topic we can get on and talk about maybe next week, guys, is whether Davis Webb will be calling plays or not. We've been on long enough. We'll just leave that for next week.
Yeah.
Little meat on the bone. All right.
All right. Yeah.
And that's the bucking truth.
Yes, it is. That is the bucking truth.
All right, boys.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
guys.
Mile high
Have a good
salute.
one.
Have a good one. All right.